everyone, and welcome to our July So Fun Club. I am so happy that you've joined us here today. I have a very special guest, as usual. And this month, we are welcoming one of our favorite reps from OESD, Kimberly Dodson. So let's dive right in. I've known Kimberly for many years. Welcome, Kimberly.
Hi, Michelle. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too. Many of you are very familiar with Kimberly Dodson from OESD, and we're going to introduce the rest of our customers to Kimberly today. So Kimberly, before we dive into all the wonderful special deals that we have on OESD applique designs today, tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me how you got started in embroidery.
So I got started in embroidery kind of accidentally. I wanted a nicer sewing machine than what I had, and I went to my dealer and I asked them about, what I could do within my budget, and somehow I went home with an embroidery machine. And that was about 18 years ago, and boy, I didn't know what I was getting myself into, but I sure do love it now.
Isn't it fun? It's so relaxing. I know sewing and especially machine embroidery, it's therapy for me, and I'm sure it's the same for many people as well.
Oh yes, yeah, that's it. I go out on the road, and I get so excited, and I think I get a little inspired even, by the customers' comments, and so all I want to do is come home and embroider.
Oh, I bet that's hard.
Yeah.
Having all the new designs each month and not having the time to sit and actually play. So
yes,
yeah, that home time is very valuable for you. So tell me a little bit about OESD, and people may not know about the company, so let's give them a little bit of information about the company as well.
So OESD stands for Oklahoma Embroidery Supply and Design, and we are based out of Oklahoma City. We've been in home embroidery for over 30 years. So we kind of were there when in the beginning, and we're still creating wonderful new designs. We work with, our wonderful talented in-house artists, but one of the cool things I think about OESD is our relationships with licensed artists. So you'll see some fun things today from some of our licensed artists. Like today we have some Laurel Birch designs and Amanda Murphy, but you'll see things from us from Tula Pink or Jim Shore, and so that's what makes the variety and what makes OESD designs so interesting and exciting. And of course the quality of our digitizing team, they have all worked with us for in the 20+ year range, and they are very talented. I don't know if you've seen our new tiling scene. I think everyone's seen it coming out. If you haven't, take a look, yes, because I think that really highlights the talent of our digitizing team.
Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. So our focus today, we brought Kimberly Dodson and OESD in because we are featuring applique designs. And applique designs are my favorite form of machine embroidery. I love to quilt, and I have fallen in love with fabric over the years. So when you take fabric and add it to the applique, not only does it reduce the bulk, you can still get a nice, warm, and flexible quilt that isn't stiff. And I'll let Kim talk a little bit more about our applique designs that we have today.
So I am right there with you, Michelle, with applique. I think one of the things that I love about applique designs is that sometimes I'll have a big project and I'll have just a little bit of fabric left over from it, and it's too cute to throw out, but it's just the right size for somebody's little hat or their little dress or something. So that's the other benefit of applique, but also that you can stitch out a large or maybe what would be a real complicated design, and by substituting the fabric where there would have been thread, you can get a much lighter design and of course have all the cute little features of it. So I'm going to show you some really great designs today, and I have a few samples to show. So we'll just get right into that. And one of the ones that I have is a collection that we have called What a Whirl. And this is a piece of our original sampling of it, and you can see it has, and when you get this design, you actually get the pattern to make this quilt. But you can see all the different designs in here. There's a combination of applique, quilting, and everything that you can possibly think of in this quilt. And it turns out really pretty, but you may not like these colors. And so I just wanted to show you something kind of interesting, because some people get so caught up in the packaging and what it looks like on the package. This is the same design collection in a different color. And
wow,
so
what a difference.
How different that looks.
Gorgeous, Kim.
And another thing that that you can do, and this may look familiar to a few of you because we did this at an event a few years ago, but because there are quilting designs as well as applique designs on the with this design collection, we decided to make one of the quilting designs an applique. So what we did here was we just placed fabric, and we used at the event, we used the projector on our machines. So depending on what kind of machine you have, what kind of positioning systems you have, but we used that because we didn't have a placement stitch since it's a quilting design. But this is raw edge quilting, or raw edge applique now, using one of the quilting designs from Whirl. So if you want even more applique, you can just create your own with it. So I think that's a really fun collection. That one was called What a Whirl. And then we have one that this has always been one of my favorites. And of course, OESD, we are known for tiling scenes. And this is called Fresh Poppies. And I'll try to hold it up straight. So this is a little tiling scene. It actually only has 10 tiles in it. And you can kind of see they're just little squares. There's one, there's one. And if you've never done a tiling scene, they are so easy to do, but this one incorporates applique. So all of the poppies use applique, and then we have the leaves here, and then some of the tiles that have the different shades of green, part of it will be applique. But what I like about this one is if you've never done a tiling scene, because it's a smaller one and it uses applique, it goes together really quickly. You could easily, if you had, a Saturday free to yourself, you could make this in a day. It's really that simple. But I think this is a really fun one and a great intro to tiling scenes. Our tiling scenes are so foolproof with the instructions. If you follow the instructions really well, the tiles will line up perfectly every time. We make it as easy as we can for you. One of the things about OESD is that our digitizers have to be able to embroider everything they digitize. So so they're going to do everything they possibly can to make it easy. And of course that translates to making it easy for us because they want to make it easy for themselves. So that's one of my favorite things. So that one is called Fresh Poppies. So another one that we have, and I'm sorry I could not make a sample of everything, but I wanted to just show you. So if you order this one is called, and let me see if I can get that up close to the camera. It's called Fall Appliques. And look how adorable those are. You can embellish them with little buttons and different things. There are several design collections on here. And the nice thing with this is if you can see, there's that little quilt. The instructions to make that project are included. So this one uses several different colors. And I know it's only July, but fall is going to come quickly. And it's always nice to get a little bit of a head start on some of those projects that you're thinking about. And that's a great one to get started with. So, and it would use some of those really pretty autumn fabrics that you might have in your stash. Or if you're like me, you'll just go buy new stuff for your stash and have even more. So another one that we did actually in an event several years ago, this is really fun. It was called Applique Greetings. Now, I think it is so cool if you give someone a gift and part of that gift is that you embroidered the card. And so these are Applique Greetings. So this is one of the cards from that design collection. And you can see the hearts are all applique, but also these little strips, you can see the gray and the black Those are all applique using the blanket stitch applique. Little hint that I'll give you, when you have applique designs that have blanket stitch or decorative stitching, I highly recommend that you pre-cut your applique pieces. It's not hard. Of course, if you have something like a scan and cut, it's really easy. But at OESD, when we give you an applique design collection, we include a PDF file with the shapes of all the applique pieces. So that way you can print those out and you can easily pre-cut your applique parts. If you have a scan and cut, we also include SVG files. So if you have something like that, we make it as easy as possible. But when you have those blanket stitches or decorative stitches, I don't know how well you can see those hearts. They have a real pretty decorative stitch around them.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
But when you're cutting in the hoop or, trying to cut, after you've done that tack down stitch, it's really difficult to get a nice clean cut when it's in the hoop. So it's a lot easier to get that clean cut if you cut your parts before you start. And that way you won't have any little stray threads or anything like that that will show through those blanket stitches or decorative stitches. So that one is, that design collection is called Applique Greetings.
And Kimberly, real quickly, so
yes.
Just so that our customers understand, this is actually making a card with paper and adding the fabric on top. So what a great idea to stretch your fabrics and make a really cute card to maybe go with a gift or something else you've made.
Right. That's what I love about cards is, and let me tell you something, if you go down to the Hallmark store or something like that, you're going to spend $5 or more on a card that they are going to throw away. But if you embroider the card, guess what? They're going to treasure that, because that's somehow, now an heirloom because you made it. So I love embroidering on cardstock and making my own cards. So this little design came from mini applique quilts. And what we did was, instead of putting it into the quilt, we just added a back to it. And now this is a little coaster. So that is something that you could do with designs. When you see it on the USB cover or something, we'll always give you some ideas, but that doesn't mean that you can't think outside. I say think outside the hoop and think, well, what could I do with this design? So this is a really cute way of using mini applique quilts, just to make a little coaster instead of a big quilt, using the little quilt blocks from it.
Well, very fun. Well, let me show you what I did. Speaking of making coasters, I made 4 different little coasters, all featuring the mini applique quilt. And I love this design because with all of the 12 designs that you get in this collection, you can make a quilt, you can make what I did, a little coaster. There's so many things that you can make with it. And on top of that, you get the design, which has, let me show the ice cream one. You can see that it has fill stitches, it has the applique, but it also has an individual ice cream. So it's really limitless what you can do with these. And I just made these little coasters. I simply made the pocket and then turned them to the front and ironed them down. So it was super fast, super easy. And once again, I love applique because you can use your own fabrics and really create some fabulous things. So I did the little sewing tomato pincushion. I have the ice cream. I have the little heart. And then I love the little bat in purple. But anyways, I wanted to surprise you, Kimberly, and show you that I made a few things. And it's funny that we both have coasters to share.
I know, that's funny. I guess that's why we're friends. We both thought of the same thing. But I love that you had a chance to make more of them than I did and show the variety, because you'll notice in there's a sewing one, there's a Halloween one, there's ice cream, like you name it. There's something that represents your friend in that design collection.
Absolutely. Yep.
So another collection that we have is called the Bella Patchwork Sampler. And so this one is Actually, when it's done, you can make a large quilt with it. The pattern for that is all included. You get several different blocks. There are actually 12 blocks that come in this, so you can mix and match them however you want. This one is really pretty because it uses several different colors in each block, and then it has motif stitches and decorative stitches that really accent your fabrics. It's just truly beautiful. And if you look at it, they've done it in, blues and pinks and yellows and purples, but you don't have to do it in that. I saw someone stitch this out once and they used really rich, like purples and teals, and it was just absolutely gorgeous when it was done. So as you look at our images, just think about, what are your favorite colors? What would you use in place of these colors? So this is a really beautiful quilt called the Bella Patchwork Sampler. And then we have one, and this is a design collection. I have always wanted to make the whole entire thing. It's called the Woodland Friends Growth Chart. It is absolutely adorable. It has all of these little animals and, woodland creatures and leaves. And so there's bunnies and there's squirrels and when you're done, it goes together just like a tiling scene, just like the Fresh Poppies one that I showed you earlier. But it goes together like a tiling scene, and it becomes a growth chart. It has part of the design includes, rulers that sew together that actually work, and that even includes a little freestanding leaf that you can use to mark the spot where you last measured. So they thought of everything with it, but I just wanted to show you one of the tiles from it. This is a little fox, and I just think he is so cute. But as you look at this, you think, oh my gosh, he is so adorable. Wouldn't he be cute on the front of a little baby onesie or something like that? So don't think you just have to make the growth chart with this. You could frame this and, stitch out all the little animals and frame them and, make maybe a little collage on a wall for a nursery. You could use these in quilt blocks. There's so many different things that you could do with this and have a whole nursery setting, but it's just absolutely adorable. And I wanted to show you really quickly just some of the other just some of the way that it goes together. You can see there the little girl standing next to the growth chart, and you've got, there's a bear, there's a bunny, the squirrel. They're just so adorable. So there's several designs that go together. If you look at the back, you can see there's, where the rulers are and everything. You can see how those all go together, and you would create the growth chart with that. So that's one of my favorites, of course. I just think those little animals are so cute.
Well, and woodland friends are so popular these days.
Yes. Yes.
Especially for nurseries. It can be for boy, for girl, and endless possibilities with that one.
Right. Yes. So another one that we have is called Whimsical Borders. And in Whimsical Borders, there's all sorts of different designs, like flowers and elephants and just super fun things. But I did the borders around the bottom of this little girl's dress. This is just a dress, that you can buy anywhere. But look at how cute those ice cream cones are. And
that's really sweet.
And so I put it all the way around the edge. Now, what Whimsical Borders, just so you know, and I'll hold one up really close, but that is also raw edge applique. So there's nothing, no stitching on the edge here. We give you the files so that you can pre-cut everything to make it easier for placement, since raw edge applique is done a little bit differently. The instructions will tell you how to do it if you've never done it before, but you got to keep in mind that you need to use something that won't fray significantly. So of course on this, we have a product called Luxe Sparkle Vinyl that doesn't fray. And so that's what I've used. But you can always back your fabric with something that will prevent it from fraying. There's different products out there that you can do that with. that will prevent fraying, or you can just use something, a type of fabric that wouldn't fray. But this is just a cute little border around the dress using the little ice cream part of that design collection. So that one's whimsical borders, and I use some different placement tools in order to get that perfectly placed around that. But you could use those on a table runner or placemats or anything that you could even, I think they would be really cute for sashing in a quilt or the border around a quilt. Lots of different options for those. So here is one of my one of my favorite design collections that's come out in the last few months. I think it is absolutely beautiful. So this is Hawaiian quilting. And so I stitched out just 2 of the blocks. My favorites are the pineapples and the turtles. I thought they were so cute, but there are so many, seashells and just everything you could possibly imagine for Hawaiian quilting included in here. It includes the echo quilting that goes around each tile. So this is another tiling scene. Once you're done, you can see how each one of these is a separate block. So once you're done, then you sew them together to make the entire block. But they go together really easily. And so one of the things we do to help you with the tiling scenes and to get those blocks together so that they go together easily and you have no trouble lining things up is at the end of each stitch out, we have what's called the seam stitch. And the seam stitch is just the square that you use for trimming your tiles apart. So, and we always recommend that you trim a 1/2 inch away from the seam stitch. And then when you go to sew them together, you use the seam stitch as your guide for sewing. So if you have trimmed them a 1/2 inch apart, and then you use that guide, they will go together perfectly every single time. So that's how we help you get those tiling scenes together so easily. So that was Hawaiian quilting. And then we have Gnome Sweet Gnome, and gnomes are so popular. So, and this one I think is so absolutely adorable. So you see all the little gnomes here, and there are 16 designs on here. But you can see that there are gnomes, there are mushrooms, there's rain boots, you name it. And one of my favorite things on here is there's a little gnome, and it's this one right here. He's holding a banner, and there's nothing in the banner. So you can use your machine fonts to bring in whatever word you would like your little gnome to say. And I've seen some people write kind of funny things in there. I saw, I think on our website, they had stitched out the word leave. So I guess if you're done with your guests, because we have welcome, already ready for you here. But if you say, okay, you're no longer welcome, so we'll turn our gnome around and you can go ahead and leave. So, but you can put whatever word, you could put your name in there or just a nice saying. But I think that's fun that we give you that option of something that, a way you can customize the collection. But I do love this collection. The gnomes are so cute in there. I think though, actually my favorite one are the rain boots. I think they're so adorable. And those really highlight cute fabric. So that is called Gnome Sweet Gnome. And so then we have Sassy and Sweet zipper pouches, and they come in several different styles, and each style comes in 3 sizes. So I have the pineapples here, and I love pineapples. So I have the large zipper pouch of pineapples, small one, and then there's a medium one that goes in the middle of these 2. But there's flamingos and just you name it, they're all super cute. But if you look at the design in here, you'll see it's like an offset fabric design. It's kind of looks modern, more just a different artistic style, but really, really cool. And it uses that same raw edge applique. So you would want to back your fabric with something to prevent the fraying, and then stitch these out. But they will stitch together really quickly. They're really fun. And I don't know about you, but I feel like you can never have enough zipper pouches. Every time I think I have enough, I make more, and I find uses for all of them. So I always putting little odds and ends in zipper pouches to keep track of my wonder clips, and you name it, whatever I have, they're going to go in a zipper pouch. So those are sassy and sweet zipper pouches.
Kimberly, real quick, can you explain to our customers that may be new to embroidery, just got their machine, how in the hoop projects work?
That's a really good question, because we have these little zipper pouches that would be considered an in the hoop project. And so what that means is that the entire little pouch is made using your embroidery machine. That includes installing the zipper. These are even lined. So the machine will give you placement stitches that tell you, where do I put my fabric down, and do I need to do any trimming or anything like that. It will tell you, where do I put my lining fabric down, and you'll go through each step until you're done. And then quite often, in the end, there will be some way to turn it right side out. So always watch for, is there an opening in the lining area, or where is that? And at that point, once you find that, you'll turn it right side out. What I think one of the things that I've seen, especially on lined zipper pouches, is that you actually have to turn them right side out 2 times, because you have to turn the lining out, and then you have to turn the main part out. And I've seen people at events, especially, they get the lining turned out and they say, oh no, I did it wrong, and they panic. Yeah. So don't panic. If you follow the instructions, just keep going, because quite often you'll turn the lining part out, you'll fuse or sew or do something to close up that opening, and then you'll turn the rest of the part, to get it completely right side out through the zipper. So as long as you follow the instructions, you should be okay. But it is funny how I see the panic in some people's eyes when they're like, wait, I turned it right side out and it's still wrong side out. So just keep that in mind. But I think in the hoop projects are so fun, because it really is a project. You don't even have to think about what you're going to do. It's like it's done for you.
Done. And I always say, I'm kind of a renegade with quilting. I will look at a quilt design and I can just replicate it. But within the hoop, I literally will follow those instructions step by step, because you never know, what step you miss, and then you turn something and it's not right. So my little tip there, definitely for anything in the hoop, make sure you go step by step. Don't skip anything.
Yeah, because it will tell you every little detail, because there might be some times where you put fabric underneath the hoop. So always watch. Usually in our instructions, if you see the picture, it will have the words back of the hoop. So you realize, oh, we're looking at the back of the hoop right now as we're placing this fabric. But we do try to keep it as simple as possible for you, but because I think in the hoop projects are some of the most fun things we do.
Absolutely. Okay, what's next?
Speaking of in the hoop projects, we have these pumpkin patch mug rugs. So these are done in the hoop, and look how cute they are. So these are just your little mug rug. We have some that look like jack-o'-lanterns. So here's another one that looks like a jack-o'-lantern. And then we also have some that just have the decorative stitching on them, but look at how cool that stitching is. And these are done in the hoop, and I call it flipping and folding. So it will give you a placement stitch for your first piece of fabric. You'll put it down, and then you will, then the first piece of fabric you would put right side up. Then you'll take your second piece of fabric, put it wrong side up, so it would be right sides together, and it will do a stitch, and then you'll fold it back. You'll do the next piece and stitch it, fold it back until you have it completely done. And then it does all this really pretty quilting. So these are really fun that you can see. They have the little applique. Once again, this is raw edge applique. So keep that in mind when you're doing these. If you're worried about the fraying, you would want to back your fabric with something so that it doesn't fray as much. But those are really cute. These are the In the Hoop mug rugs. And once again, those make really great gifts too. And of course, you know, even though it's July, you know that autumn is going to be here soon. What's fun about these is you have the Halloween ones, but these will work all the way through Thanksgiving. So you can really get some good use out of those pumpkin ones. So those are the pumpkin patch mug rugs. And then we have another one that I thought was so cute. This is Adorable Autumn. And so I put this on like a little t-shirt. It has a little ruffle around the bottom. But this one says Perfect Pumpkin. And you can see I used the Luxe Sparkle vinyl for the pumpkin. So it's all glittery and pretty for some little girl. But there are so many just super cute designs on this Adorable Autumn that would be great for towels, for onesies, for you name it. They would be great. So once again, let's start getting ready for autumn. If we get ready for autumn, maybe we'll actually have enough time to do some Christmas and holiday things too. So then we have Frosty Forest, and Frosty Forest is from an artist, and she's one of my favorite artists, Cherry Guidry. And so this has so many fun things: snowmen, owls, raccoons, you name it. So many different designs. You can see there are about 22 designs on this collection. We do have a little pillow project that you can make with these, but it's just all sorts of different things. Now, Cherry Guidry is a fabric artist, so this design has been out for a couple of years. So you're not going to find the fabric that coordinates with this in the stores currently, but you might have it in your stash if you're like me, like, oh, that looks familiar. Maybe I have some of that. But you don't have to have the coordinating fabric, of course, because these would look great. The snowmen would even be cute on a towel or anything. They're just super cute. And there's borders in here. There's snowflakes, poinsettia, you name it. There's so many different things. A really nice variety of applique designs. These ones do use like a blanket stitch. So once again, I would recommend that you pre-cut your applique pieces when you use this one. But it's another one that's really great. And then we have Florals 2. So this is a Laurel Birch, and we have a couple of Laurel Birch ones, but this one is so pretty. There are, I would say, I think about 18 or 19 designs on this collection. And I'm going to show you when I talk about the other Laurel Birch designs, I'll show you some things you can do, but these are absolutely beautiful applique designs. You can see some of these I usually, when I'm out and about, it just seems like everyone loves Laurel Birch. So just a really beautiful design collection, but lots of florals, but there's also some butterflies and other pretty things in this collection. So wonderful collection that would, I think they look beautiful on, I love her stuff on denim, on black, on tote bags, on jackets, anything like that. So then we also have Thankful from Amanda Murphy, and Amanda Murphy is also a fabric designer. She's a long arm quilter. You may have heard of her. She teaches a lot of classes, and but once again, we're let's get ready for autumn. These would be great for a Thanksgiving display, and I do have one of the pumpkins stitched out, so you can see. Sweet. This one is fresh off the machine. I have not even trimmed my jump stitches yet, but but they stitch out so pretty, and the detail, it's really interesting because when I was looking at the threads that it called for, I thought they're so similar to each other. I thought, how is this going to turn out? But it's just that shading that you need to get that detail of that pumpkin, because when you look at it, it looks, you know, like it's got the ridges of the pumpkin. It's really, really beautiful stitched out. So and just a simple design you could put on a towel, or you know, maybe a placemat or a pot holder. So that one's thankful. The nice thing with the design collection, though, that I wanted to show, because I just, you know, I stitched out the pumpkin, but there are leaves, there are other motifs, just a lot of different variety of things that you can use to make a larger, you know, collage or something like that, or a set. And I know that I've seen people use these a lot in, you know, for napkin corners and projects like that. So let's talk about another one from Amanda Murphy. This one is Celestial Lights. And so there are a lot of applique designs, but there's also a lot of other types of designs. So if you look here, these are several of the quilt blocks, and I'm trying to show you all of them, but look at how beautiful those are. And like I said, Amanda Murphy is a fabric designer. So the fabric that I've used in this table runner actually does coordinate with the designs. So you can see the detail and how beautiful those are. She is really an amazing artist. I love her, just the delicate nature of her designs. So you can see this is Celestial Lights, really beautiful collection. And
how many blocks are in that collection, Kim?
There are a lot.
There's a lot, yeah.
It is a really, I'm trying to remember, but it's a very large collection. Because I know I didn't even scratch the surface of it. And then on top of all the quilt blocks, there are all the applique designs, and so. Right.
I think it's our largest collection that we have today for them.
Yeah, it is. It's one of our a larger one even for us. That it was kind of a special release one when it came out because it was so large. And then we have these cute little honeybee gnomes, and the artist is and I don't know how to say her name, but Lori Nawin. But I do know there is fabric floating out in the world somewhere that coordinates with these, because guess what? I have it in my stash because I found it once and it was so cute. But they're little gnomes that look like little honeybees. And so there are all the different designs in here. I think one of my favorites, though, this little border of bees is so cute. It's just a whole bunch of bees on a border. But then we've got Let's Be Friends. We've got some sunflowers, and then just all the little gnomes spreading their honey around because they're so cute. And they're all wearing little honeybee shirts. So such a super, super cute design collection. So that one is Honeybee Gnomes. And then I want to talk about Floral Appliques. So this is another Laurel Birch design. And so something that you can do with applique designs that a lot of people don't realize is that if they have a satin stitch around the edge, you can make them freestanding. So these are two freestanding appliques now, also known as a patch. So if you look at that closely, now I could have stitched this on fabric. It would have worked just fine. It has a placement stitch, the tack down stitch, just like any applique would. But instead of stitching it on fabric, I stitched it on a wash away stabilizer. Now there is still fabric in in the design. So, and then if you notice, it's very sparkly because I use our Lux Sparkle vinyl in it, but you could use fabric, you could use whatever you have. But so what I did was I hooped my wash away stabilizer and I stitched the placement stitch directly onto the stabilizer. And then I put my applique fabrics down on that and then stitched my tack down, did my trimming, and then stitch the rest of the design. So once I was done, I could just remove the stabilizer easily and I would have the patch. But the fabric is holding everything together, the fabric that I use for my applique. So that's another fun way to do it.
What a great idea.
So so if you have that, now just keep in mind there are different types of finishing or cover stitches that come at the end of the applique. I talked about blanket stitches, motif stitches, or decorative stitches. In order to do this, that final stitch has to be a satin stitch because that's what will hold the edge together nicely. So keep that in mind, but no reason why you can't turn these into a patch because what if you want to put that applique design on something that you would have a really difficult time getting under your needle? Maybe you want to put it on a pocket and you don't want to take the pocket off before you do it, but you still want to use the pocket. So you could do this and then you could attach the patch later and it'll look like you embroidered it on.
Yeah,
so another
many
great
things.
idea.
You can put it on a hat, you could put it on a backpack. Right. I like making flowers like that for my mom and make a brooch or a hair clip. So yeah, that's a great idea, Kim. I love that you shared that with us.
So the last sample that I want to show you today is called Winter Whimsy Snow Globes. These are so fun. So if you look at my little snow globe, and I put it on a little towel for my bathroom, and you'll notice it's kind of got a shimmer here. So we've used a clear vinyl for our applique. So this one actually stitches a little bit different than what you would expect, but it's still the same process. So what happens here is it will stitch this design. So these trees and the stars are all done before your placement stitch for your applique. So you'll stitch all those out and then it will give you your placement stitch and then you'll put your clear vinyl down. Then it will tack the clear vinyl down. You will trim that away and it will stitch this final cover stitch. And then we've got the base of our snow globe down here. So these Winter Whimsy snow globes are really fun project that's just a little bit different. Now, something that you could do if you really wanted to get creative, you could put maybe glitter or confetti or something like that inside here that would really kind of spice it up or make it a little bit more interesting or give it a little just a little bit extra character because this is, you can keep this separate. Where it can kind of shift around in there. So I think that would be something fun to do. But it just, the only thing that you would need to add to it instead of fabric here in this applique, you just use a clear vinyl. So I am so excited that I got to show you some of those fun design collections. And we'll see if Michelle, if she thinks that we have any questions or, but those are some just a little highlight of the applique designs that OESD has.
So Kimberly, yes, we're so happy and excited that we were able to bring in these 20 different design collections that we have featuring in the hoop, quilting, strict machine embroidery. We tried to bring in a little bit of everything and a variety for everyone. And one of the great things about OESD was they had all of those images and designs, and they had the variety for us. So I want to thank you, Kimberly, for joining us for our July So Fun Club, and look forward to seeing you again, my friend. And thank you once again from all of us at Moores. So if you are ready to purchase any of these wonderful designs that we've showed you from OESD, you can click on the link and you can always go to moores-so.com. to pick up any and all of these designs that we have for you with our very special prices this month. Now let's dive into our show and tell, which is always my favorite part of any Sew Fun Club. This month, we have a very special gift that we're giving away. We have 3 Class A professional scissor sets. And in this, you're going to get pins, a thimble, you're going to get a small thread snip, as well as these professional long-handled shears. So a nice set. They're valued at $39.99, and we have 3 of them that we're giving away. In order to get in the running for one of these wonderful scissor sets from Class A, all you have to do is like, comment, or share this feed. So let's dive into now what I brought in for my show and tell to start off the show and tell. Okay, so the quilt that I'm sharing this month is from a designer called Lori Holt. You're probably aware of her. She's from Bee in My Bonnet. And this quilt here that I made is called Farm Girl. And it's just one of those fun samplers that you make a lot of different blocks, put them together. I used a lot of fun different fabrics. I've actually made this quilt 3 different times. So I have it in larger blocks, but this is the smaller blocks that we have from her. And let me show you a couple of the blocks up close. So notice the chicken here. Isn't he adorable? He's got the comb on top, and even though it's a smaller block, you still get a lot of the details. And then one of my favorites is the American flag. So I've used just some scrap fabrics there, added a nice star in the center. But you can see from this one, let me show you one more. One of my other favorites is this wonderful little cute sheep here. But if you look at some of the other blocks, it's a good variety of types of blocks. We have traditional quilt blocks, we've got canning jars, we've got stars, we've got a milk jug. It's just a super fun quilt to create. So this is what I have to share this month, my Farm Girl quilt. And I can't wait to see what you're going to share. So don't forget to like, comment, and share. And you might be the lucky winner of one of those Class A shear sets. So once again, I want to thank you for spending some time with us here today for our Sew Fun Club. And don't forget to go to moors-sew.com for all your sewing needs. I look forward to seeing you again next month for our Sew Fun Club. And until then, happy stitching, everyone, and we'll see you soon.